everyone to my podcast. This is the Hall of Gamers podcast featuring me, Professor Pluto, Matt, aka Neomaster.
Hello.
Cameron, aka Shadowless Edge, Illuminated Boundary. I've got no border around this place.
Shade Bush. What else was it? There's at least like 3 or 4.
You really put me on the spot, so I'm clutching at some straws here. But this is the part where you say hello, Cameron.
Hello, Cameron.
I knew you were going to do that too. And we also have featuring the lovely and wonderful AudreyChar, Mandosaurus Rex Lily, the lady of many names.
Yes.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And Alison's fist might appear in the left of Neo's frame at some point.
Yeah, potentially. I've got the blur on, but she is sitting in the background. So the thing is, because the blur is on, I won't see it coming either. So it'll be a surprise for everybody.
Are you trying to make some joke about like having to see your girlfriend through glasses?
I mean, look, I got the LASIK for a reason, okay? And she's just putting a smiley face in the chat, so I'm getting slightly worried. Yeah,
scary smiley face, that one. It looks like a skeleton every time I see it. And I'm like,
it's real, yeah, it's real unsettling, right?
It's got iRobot vibes.
Dead behind the eyes sort of thing. Thanks, Mr. Professor Pluto 1 for hosting us this week. We really appreciate it.
We talked about this, didn't we, Cameron? Shadowless Edge _.
Yeah,
buddy.
Okay.
Yeah,
that was my own fault.
Oh, really? I haven't heard it mentioned in the last 35 episodes, actually. No one mentioned it.
No, not a single one. Not a single one.
Okay, in case, I will tell the story.
I've heard Professor Pluto 1 mentioned on many occasions.
Well, look, mate, we just want to make sure that if you decide to come back to your illustrious streaming career, that people know the right place to go.
They actually know the right, username.
Yeah, they don't got to Hall of Gamers or something,
Yeah, no, we don't want to do that. That's not right.
No,
That's not the
so
right
don't
one.
even know who that is.
Yeah.
So, Alex, what are we talking about this week?
You know what, Matt? I'm glad that you segued to me like absolute champ, because I'm going to tell you what we're talking about this week. But first, I think we need to do the housekeeping, because that's what we normally do, right?
Absolutely, good job. I'm glad you've got the document in front of you.
I used to work in a hotel which had housekeepers. Just in a little, I'm already side noting us, tangenting us anyway. But yeah. So, maybe it's time for you to take over, Matt.
I'm for this. Let him run the entire episode. I'm for it.
Just see this again. This is why I don't listen to Cameron. Everyone's like, you should listen to Cameron. Let him talk more on the show. And I'm like, have you come up with some of his ideas?
Have you heard his opinions?
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, Jesus.
Have you seen his Twitch name?
Okay. He just got an episode of Recording. Okay, where on my horrible.
Well, it's because our opinion of the movie was different to yours, Cameron. Doesn't mean we're going to give you shit about it.
Look, to be fair,
we just differed to your opinion.
You did say an Uwe Boll film was acceptable, which I was
like,
look, mate,
you said that to me in the party the other night too, and I was like, Cameron, you know who directed that, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, so we watched. We watched Blood Rain, and it went about as well as you'd expect. Holy shit, what a movie!
I like that Cameron sticks to his guns even when he's wrong.
I mean, no, that's right. That's
consistency.
Yeah, exactly. He should run for office.
I take my inspiration from Mike.
Fair. Yeah.
That's fine. She'll hear this.
Completely fair.
She'll hear this in about 5 weeks when she catches up, and then she'll forget about it. So, if you want to come watch us live, we do the show live on Twitch. Hall of Gamers Pod is the name to come check out. We're live right now. If you're watching this, you can come hang out in the chat, ask us questions, shit posts. Come say hi. We really appreciate it. Give us some money, which also helps. Charlotte also put some new magical commands in here.
Oh my! All ideas that Charlotte gave me.
Oh, I see. Right. So you thieved the idea. I see.
They were my ideas
and
that Cameron stole.
So I jumped in her chat the other day, and I got something. Like, all right.
No,
cool.
I did not. I did not. I said, hey, Cameron, check these out. I did not be like, I've got this and you don't. And I believe I actually gave you the details of how to create them too.
Can you have a permanent panel? Myself. Do you have a permanent panel showing your gamer score?
Oh,
you haven't set it up, Cameron.
I mean, we could.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
so I always wondered that.
Okay, so if you're listening right now, type your exclamation mark gamer score. Oh, you.
All right, let's do that. Let's do that now.
Make sure to put Professor.
Yeah, I think I might not forget that one, mate. Thanks. I broke it.
You're welcome.
I think it's a little bit of a delay, but it's one of those things.
Oh.
It's what Nightbot does in between banning Allison for spamming links or caps. So
rude words. Too many rude words.
Too many rude words.
This podcast.
Too many. Just too many.
You guys think I'm bad?
That wasn't rude. That was fair, by the way. Just in case Allison might have written something in the chat.
Apparently, Professor Pluto, you just don't have a gamer score. I don't even know why we've got you on the podcast if you haven't scored anything. Yeah, I'm
just gonna put it on Professor Pluto 1 and see what it can find. Because clearly that's the right one. Isn't it?
No, that's fair. That's fair.
I know that this morning it was doing.
Not found.
Professor
Pluto 1. He's a streamer, but he's not a gamer apparently. So
I replied with my fake gamer tag faster than my actual. Yeah, okay.
Amazing.
Yeah, well, the problem is it's got to count all the numbers, like just gets a bit ridiculous.
Yeah.
All right. Well, with that train wreck out of the way, let's transition to a wonderful song of the week that Charlotte recorded for us. So take it away.
It's time to play the backlog. It's time to make a list. It's time to send a message on LFG tonight. It's time to fill the lobby. It's time to flex your wrists. It's time to make some progress on the stream tonight. Will I ever finish this game? I guess I have to now. It's stuck here in my backlog, so on I'll have to plow. So now let's get it started. Why don't we get it started? It's time to get things started on the most frustrational, confrontational, inescapable, unobtainable 100-hour grinding show.
All right. Now that I've had that, I listened to what was that line before? Emo and me heard something different.
Was it Flex?
Flex my wrist?
No, give me a second. I have to look it up because I don't remember it off by heart because I did this like an hour before the show.
Yeah. Only wrist, I was like,
because it was flex your wrists.
Flex your wrists.
Flex your wrist.
Yeah, but the line before that was something different. But yes. Not quite. This is a theme song.
Or in Kanto.
Didn't I tell you this, Cameron? It's a TV show theme song.
Yeah,
that's
it is.
Yeah, but you didn't know either, so don't go all high and mighty.
Okay.
I know it's
Does
a TV
anyone
show
in chat
I don't
know
watch.
it? If not, I will give a clue.
It's not
Anyone
Dragon
in
Ball
chat?
Z, and it's not Pokemon. I can narrow
No,
it
it's
down.
not.
Okay, it's definitely not those. No, unfortunately, it's a
It is a kid show.
sort of,
kind of. Okay, so my clue for you is
Oh,
Manamana.
Oh, there we go. That's Mark Box has got it.
Yeah, Box has got it. There we go.
Fantastic. Yep, it is the Muppets. The Muppets theme song.
How's that? Probably a little.
That's
It is
better.
the Muppets theme song.
Great. Thanks, Cameron. I can have to balance that out. That's wonderful.
I would never have got that.
Really?
Even your clue did not help me at all. Manow.
Really? Manamana. But
I could.
Manamana.
That's the Banana Boat theme song for Sunscreen. That's not
that's
anything.
Banana Boat. What do you mean?
Oh my god.
Oh, Jesus.
Banana
Okay,
Boat
this is just,
sunscreen protection. Banana
Oh
Boat.
my god.
What the fuck?
Do you not have Banana Boat in New Zealand? Come on, don't get derailed.
No, we do not have. But no, we just die of skin cancer. Okay, we don't fuck with any of that shit. We're like,
we have
we're
like
good.
a
We're just
massive hole in our ozone layer above us.
Yes,
Yeah.
so do we.
yeah. I
They're
know.
not that far away from us.
Yeah,
What the fuck do you think? Where do we live, Cameron?
You Kiwis, you got fur or something.
Oh
What
my
the
fucking
fuck?
god.
Okay, can we move on from the
I'm
fact
not-
that
yeah.
apparently Cameron thinks that we are furries in New Zealand?
There's worse things to be.
It would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, there are worse
God.
things to be, but I'm really struggling to come up with them right now. All right. Well, Alex, it's been a few episodes since you've been on the show.
Yes.
How have you been? What have you been up to? You know, what's the deal?
Well, Cameron tried to get me to have a little race with him to 800,000, I think.
Oh, right. Yep.
He likes to lord over me when he has his gamer score higher than me, which is funny because I just play what I play.
I tell you, I don't really care.
You do care. You do care.
Whatever.
Oh, Alex, I passed you, and then you're like, "Oh, you got in front of me," and I'm like, "Did I?" And then next week you're back in front of me, and then you did like 50,000 in a week or something, and I was like, "Okay," but
yeah, that's me trying to keep up with Matt, which is
well, no shit. Have you met
like
me?
half
I'm
of
fucking
you
amazing.
He was getting paid to play Radalikas for a good little while there, Matt.
There's a lot of Radalikas, okay? I mean, look,
Radalikas, East Asia, soft flying islands,
oh my
all of
god, just so much fucking trash.
Yes, I could do it. I mean, I guess I'm in a fortunate enough position at the moment, even with everything happening, that I could afford to buy, 100 shitty games at $5 or $7 or whatever. But
yeah, right.
I could, but I don't want to. I'm not at that point anymore. Maybe when I get to 850, 900,000, maybe I will. But I don't want to hate my push through to 1 million. I want to look at my 1 million, and I want to play some good games along the way. So I've obviously haven't been on for a while, so I picked a few games to talk about later that I actually really enjoyed, or I thought were notable for some reason. But I went to the Grampians the week before last. Went to the Grampians with my wife and my daughter. She didn't sleep for she woke up for an hour the first 3 nights. And one of us, my wife on the first night and me on the second and third night, just lay with her on my chest, like patting her back and going, shh, it's okay. It was rough, man. But everything else around that was pretty good. Get kangaroos going through the park, so you got to like zip your tent up. Or they ended up in our tent last year. Kangaroo stole a loaf of bread from us. They don't mess around, mate. They don't mess around.
And if some of them
stole a loaf of bread, mate.
Some of them look really jacked as well. You're like, you just keep the loaf of bread. I'm not, I don't want to.
I'm 6'4".
I'm not fighting you.
So I'm pretty tall, but sometimes like 3 o'clock in the morning, whatever, normally you just toddle off to the toilet, right? It's 10 meters away, but you walk across the whole caravan park to go to the bathroom, and you're probably going to come across a kangaroo. But there are some of them, they're bigger than I am. And I'm, like I said, 6'4", I'm 116 kilos. And it's like, not that I want to fight a kangaroo, but given the choice, I still wouldn't fight a kangaroo. They'll mess you up, man.
That's good. There are smaller animals.
If there's a choice between fighting one and not fighting one, you're going to choose not to.
Yes. I remember when I was, I think it was 13 or 14, my dad. And boy, we hit one the same size as him one night. Took out the entire front. Went straight over the bull bar, hit the engine, took it all out.
I hit one in my old car, and not that I wasn't happy about hitting it, not because it damaged my car, but I actually really felt like shit afterwards, because I hit it in a 100 zone. So it was going fast. I wasn't doing 100. I probably hit it about, 70 or 80 because I hit the brakes, but it just went like bounce, bounce, bang, straight in front of my car. It just totally changed direction. And I cleaned it up, and I still remember its head. Anyway, smashing into the dash. It was rough, but that's not what we're here to talk about. That's just living in the rural areas in Melbourne.
It's what you get for living in Mad Max.
Oh, mate,
right? That's just kind of it's like that and guitar flamethrowers, and it's like, well, sometimes you just got to deal with kangaroos. Yeah.
It's country living. 100%. You see so many in the country.
What else have I been doing, Cameron? I mean, we've been playing a lot of Gen Zero. I went to a beer festival in your town and didn't tell you I was there.
I fucking hated you.
That sounds about right.
Sorry about that. That's it was a week
later. Pretty fucking bad.
When I was like, I was in Bendigo for the beer festival. I was like,
and we could have hanged out, and I would have.
Should I contact Cameron?
No, I literally didn't even think about it. I'm sorry, Cameron. Yeah. That was my bad. That was a great beer festival.
If it was a weekend that I had Persephone, which I think the beer festival was this year, I would have just told you.
26th of March, I think.
I can't. Yeah,
Persephone would enjoy a beer or two, right? Come on.
There were some non-alcoholic beers there. And there was also
I still want to find that strawberry beer.
Probably families.
I didn't realize that Australians had non-alcoholics.
yeah. Oh, look, it's not for me.
Fair.
But I still remember that episode of The Simpsons where there was some secret place was hidden in the non-alcoholic beer. Yeah, I think someone goes, "What happens if you get asked about the non-alcoholic beer?" He goes, "It's never come up." And I still remember that. I'm like, yeah, maybe not in 2022, but that joke worked for a long time.
Yeah, that's fair.
So yeah, I went for that. My daughter is 20 months old now, so it's hard, but it's good. She is a real sweetheart. Aww. She's asleep, or I might get her to pop her head on, but she's a little cutie.
You tell me if you feel the same a year from now.
Look, we'll see how you go. Some tantrums. It's one of those things. It's really changed my outlook on things. I never thought it would. I never thought, having a kid would change it. But it's like I listen to a lot of horror podcasts. It's probably it's more than 3/4, right? And naturally with horror, there's a lot of horror involving bad things that happen to women. It's just a story. It's fine. But I think about these things and I think about my daughter and I'm like, what can I do about that? And I guess, Cameron, you probably, if you listen to horror as much as I did, you would think about it as much as I do, but I'm sure it's crossed your mind. It's a shitty world out there.
World's a scary place. Something's really put it into perspective.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I think about it and go, I just got to try and, raise her as best as I can and give her the tools to make the best decisions she can. And, hope for the best. I hope. I mean, I can't. I just
think
live our life for her.
Look, there's good days. There's the days that you watch Bluey and sit down and like take it all in.
Every day.
Every day, yep. And there's the days that
Bluey episode. And a concern.
What'd you say? Like I've probably
seen every episode.
Yeah, same.
It's a concern.
Bluey is the best kid shows out there. I will stand by that. Now, a bad day is watching Peppa Pig.
Yeah, sure. Okay, fair.
I'll sit there and watch it, but yeah, I always think about the dad. Like the grandpa's not a dumbass as much, but the dad is a massive dumbass. And always think about it and go, you can say whatever you would like about the equality moment, but you never make the woman the stupid one in an ad or a TV show. Never, ever, ever. And I mean, that's one thing that I would like. I would just like share
just
around.
More stupid
there
women.
are a lot of stupid people.
That's fair.
No, all genders. There's a lot of stupid people. Anyway, I'm sidetracking us too hard. Things have been pretty good, mate,
I'm glad I put in the go live description. Listen to some hot takes.
Yeah, that's exactly that's what it says.
That's accurate. That's like accurate.
Yep.
They're not even that hot, mate. They're like
lukewarm takes.
Lukewarm takes, yeah. Okay.
Moderate takes.
Yeah.
But it's like going back to that just very quickly. Like Blue is the only show I can think off the top of my head where dad isn't painted like an idiot. He's actually he's a hero to his two daughters.
I think also it's a lazy way to do comedy as well.
Yeah, and I think that's a bigger issue in general, right? I think that's not just in terms of that, but
this is great content for an achievement hunting podcast.
Stay away from the rabbit warren.
Mildly strange.
Life has been good. Life hasn't been strange. It's been pretty good. I got my Gears of War hoodie. I got my True Achievements. Wait, Gears of War
beanie. Yeah,
True Achievements hoodie.
And your Hall of Gamer shirt underneath that, right?
Yeah, that one you sent me. They gave it to me at the Bendigo Beer Festival. Thank you for that.
I will get you one if you want one. Just let me know.
I also remembered I've still got the smaller one. So when we meet up at PAX,
do a trade.
Someone
dibs. Anyway, should we get into it?
It's gonna be good.
Yeah, let's get into what do we got for news this week, Cameron? Has anything actually happened? Because apparently nothing's been happening the last couple of weeks. It's been absolutely dead.
I'm like, do I want to go suddenly angry all of a sudden?
I mean,
whoa, okay. I mean,
fine. Yeah, let's fuck it. Let's get
if you want to.
All right, cool. So, if people remember back to, I guess, the start of the year when I was talking about doing challenges, I talked about 5 series this year that I wanted to. That were very, very big stretch goals, but I was making some leeway on them.
I thought that was last year.
Oh well, this year as well. I moved it down from 10 to 5 this year.
Okay.
You swapped them over.
We had 25 games in Game Pass, which I'm making decent progress with. We had Yakuza, Kingdom Hearts, Age of Empires, and Assassin's Creed.
Oh yeah, Assassin's Creed. Those games are some of my favorites actually, and those usually aren't too bad to complete, right?
What we do? We got like most of the Brotherhood done. We got Origins done for me. We got quite a bit done at Odyssey until I heard Persephone and threw the controller at the screen.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember now.
Still fucking pisses me off.
They also say aluminium incorrectly over in the States.
Aluminum.
Aluminum. What is that? That's not even a thing.
Aluminium.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Aluminium. I just watched Finding Nemo recently. Finding Nemo is a good kids movie too. Anyway.
It is a very good kids movie, yes.
Keeping my angry composure. So, multiple legacy Ubisoft titles got hit with stealth server closure.
Yeah.
So, immediately going up the list, we have the current. I'll tell you the full list, and I'll tell you the games that are. So, Assassin's Creed 2, 3, Brotherhood, and Revelations all had server closures. Beyond Good and Evil, Blazing Angels 2, Far Cry 3, Just Dance Kids 2014, Rabbids Alive and Kicking, Smurfs 2. Yeah. Out of those games,
Smurfs 2, no,
not Smurfs 2.
There were a lot others. They were shutting them down across the board. Just to be clear, for like a lot of different platforms. But these are the ones that are affected on Xbox at least.
On Xbox 360. So Rabbids Alive and Kicking has 2 discontinued achievements. Assassin's Creed 3 has 9 discontinued achievements. Brotherhood has 10 discontinued achievements, and Revelations has 20.
Yeah.
Now, this is going to bring up this has brought up a few conversations. Like,
good old, just a couple.
Just good old Brad chiming in saying 360 games is 2 generations. I say that's fucking bullshit. Publishers should give notice.
They should give notice.
They should, but Assassin's Creed 3 came out 10 years ago, Cameron. How long do you need, bud?
But at the same point, I'm just like 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Would you have finished the achievement? I don't know what the achievements are, but would you have finished them in 2 weeks?
That would be a rough. You need to take 2 weeks off.
Assassin's Creed 3, yeah. Assassin's Creed 3 is pretty easy.
Sure.
Okay, so
Brotherhood is the hard one, which took us several weeks. Brotherhood I had got done.
So you got them done. Fuck everyone else's ways.
No. What I'm saying is, I got Brotherhood done. That Revelations, I haven't started on 360.
Right.
Okay. So if you put this in perspective, Metal Gear Solid 5 has a date that it's the server's closing, right?
Yeah.
End of May.
For 360.
That was released in September 2015.
Yeah.
And that has a date. So why can't these other games have a date?
Exactly.
Yeah, but if it was in 3 years' time at the 10-year anniversary of it and they turned it off, you're like, you had time. I don't disagree with you. They should. Look, I'm just saying people have had ample time to get it done. And 10 years for Ubisoft is enormous.
That is huge. That's true. This is true.
That's 10 times longer than you normally get.
Look, I'm not going to disagree.
And I mean, that is Kojima, so like.
I'm not going to. It's just one of those things that I feel like there's. It's going to sound really wanky, but there's certain protections in place for us as achievement hunters. So if servers go down or whatever, like there's rules.
You should still be able to achieve those achievements, right? Like you should be able to still be able to complete the game.
I mean, we talked about this with Verdicts, right? Around how achievements should work and that kind of stuff.
And in fact, they just don't work that way.
Because it's Ubisoft, it's just going to be like whatever, swept under the rug.
Yeah, they're too big to deal with, and they're not going to change their minds on it. And yeah, they're not going to go back and update those games. There's no way. They'll sooner pull them from sale than they will go back and spend any money on them. I don't think they should be able to do this at all. I think it should be a hard solid rule that they need to, if they're going to be taking anything offline, that they need to modify the achievements.
It sets such a, I don't want to say dangerous. a bad precedent games.
For sure. It's got me looking around my library going, okay, well, I mean, like I've already been working on my multiplayer games, but it's now maybe going.
But it's what are all the older games? What are the oldest games that are sitting in there that you actually like, oh shit, I better actually get these complete? Because what if the servers do suddenly just close?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, this is why I was working on them. This is like, I knew that eventually things, when they were talking about Rainbow Vegas.
Six Vegas,
yeah, last year I started working on them.
Yeah,
I've got that done just in time with Mad Rocketansky, who I think might be in the chat.
He is in the chat.
He
Yeah,
is, yep.
in time, because I heard about that. And I was like, oh boy.
I think those ones are still safe though, even though they're on the list. It appear.
Yes, I believe so.
So there's a few that are murky at the moment. I know Brotherhood is definite.
Yeah, all three of those are definitely like dead as a dodo, unfortunately, because they don't use peer-to-peer. Because their whole Abstergo system is all hosted on their side, which is why they've shut it down. But yeah,
other thing is, it's not that hard to even just put out a tweet.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, just something,
like,
just some sort of
minimum. Okay, do the minimum and say in 1 month these games are going to go down, and you obviously own all the the verified Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, whatever. You own all those as Ubisoft. Get your CM to log in and retweet it. There, you've done the minimum.
It takes a second.
Yeah, the people who care will see it.
Just even going back to it too, we've had a perfect example of this last year. Halo 360 servers went down for all those games.
I mean, they had been up a year, like
a year early.
It was way early,
and then they even pushed it out by another month or so because afterwards.
Now, as a consumer, I just sit here and go like, why am I going when am I going to actually bother about buying an Ubisoft game again if I know that I'm not safe as a consumer, that they can just go, bam, servers are down, too much effort to fix them.
That's it.
Catch you later.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying, but I disagree. If Ubisoft puts out a game you want to play, you're going to buy it.
What, me or a typical consumer?
If they put out Far Cry Blood Dragon 2, actually, they did put a bloody remaster out for it and I didn't get it. But I didn't get a sequel to it or something good, like a good Far Cry game, I'd buy it. Even if they put online achievements in it. But I think we've all been around long enough to know that EA is going to wreck you in 12 to 18 months.
Yeah.
Ubisoft is
2K,
2 years or something, you might get 2 years. The 2Ks, they always go, like you said, 2Ks always go down. It's going to happen. So I guess that's the risk that you take. But I think, listening to Matt talk about this on many episodes, you probably should look through your collection and go, well, what has online achievements, and at least just get the online done.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I'll be clicking around on a game and go, oh, this person's got like 300 out of 2000 TA. What have they done? Oh, just the online. So you can come back to it later. But I guess even then, they could just pull your license if they feel like it.
At the end of the day, that's kind of the extreme. But you're right, and that's I think the sort of argument to what you're saying there, Cameron, is that if you are buying a game in the way games are distributed today, you're buying a digital license for a game. They can, like Microsoft or even the company, can just switch those off anytime they like, really. I mean, obviously, they get massive fucking blowback and it'd be ridiculous for them to do so. But if they really wanted to, they could just snap their fingers and all your fucking library disappears.
It happened with, it kind of happened with those Telltale games, some of them.
Yep.
If you don't have a copy, it happened with PT on PlayStation. Like, there's enough examples around, but that's the risk.
I can get when a studio goes defunct, because it's like it's out of Microsoft at that point.
Well, it's never out of Microsoft. They could always fix it.
I mean, yes,
but it's the cost to benefit.
Cost to benefit. I'm sure they'll try everything they can because Microsoft to game preservation.
Yeah, it's not a good look for them to be pushing games that are incomplete. But then again, like, do they really care? Do they actually care? Like,
how many games come out with unobtainables? Microsoft aren't. They don't care.
Yeah, right. And that's kind of, I think that we've talked about this before, but I feel like a lot of that is just marketing strategy and lip service, right? Because it's their key point of differentiation between them and Sony.
I'm more on the side these days though. If games come out with unobtainables, fix it though over a certain amount of period. like Vudix has said before, they have the tools to pull it from the store, and it has happened.
Like sure, but when was the last time a large release had that and they had an
that it's who has money. That's the problem.
Right? PlayStation did it with Cyberpunk.
that's unheard of.
That's really it. That's the only time I can think of it.
I think it was Batman Arkham Knight was a fucking nightmare when it first came out, and I think there was some stuff around that about getting pulled or refunds and that kind of stuff. But outside of those two are the only things I can really think of about sort of AAA level stuff that had issues that actually caused it to be, become Sony's or Microsoft's problem. Whereas really it's just like, they don't give a shit. Why would they? I
just realized we're in a really unique disposition. We're not going to buy a game day one because it's not finished.
No.
We're going to wait until it's finished. But then by the time it's finished, bad luck, you've got 3 weeks to get the online achievements.
I just don't buy
If
the game
that's 2K strategy.
Yeah.
Buy day one or you're fucked.
Yeah.
Which is why I don't buy games that have online achievements for the most part.
Especially if we're waiting for it to potentially go to the Game Pass or something like that, because that's when like I wait for things to go to Game Pass.
Yeah, I don't fucking buy games most of the time anymore. Like I've grabbed a couple recently that are on really good sales, but
saying that with Game Pass,
the Artifix Mondays.
Obviously Artifix Monday. Yeah.
With the Game Pass stuff, though, we're outliers in the sense that we're always constantly playing different games. We're not like the typical consumer that will play a game once, get invested, and then buy it because they want to replay it.
Yes, although I think that typical consumer behavior is changing because of Game Pass. The thing is that
I'm saying in terms of like they may not buy day one; they'll wait till it comes to Game Pass. But when they hit Game Pass and have played it, they will buy it after. And the stats show that.
Yeah, sure. You're right. No, you're right. You're right in terms of the people who. Well, like it's the thing where it's like you get that barrier to entry is literally nothing, basically, right? You just they give Game Pass away just about. So getting people in there and then being like, oh, this might leave, or I want to support this developer. I mean, like I don't really understand the behavior. If I play something in Game Pass, I'm sure as fuck not going to buy it if I don't need to. But I see games as consumables, right? They're experiences that I suck the life out of and then discard.
Some people though like
title update or
DLC
drop
fucking every time, right? That's where they make the money.
I'm gonna say games like cozy games like Unpacking that though people will pick them up though because they want to revisit it and have those experiences.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm just like I'm not the kind of person who rereads books or rewatches movies, right?
I know, like we're outliners in this example, but I'm saying Matrix, the typical person.
Yeah, right. Of course, The Matrix is like the one exception, right? Well, the thing is,
20 times.
I like rewatching movies with people who haven't seen them. That's different, right? But I don't usually see myself going. And this is just me as a human being. This is not just about like
Dawn
achievement
of the
hunting.
Dead remake. Dawn of the Dead remake. Yeah. Any zombie film.
Alone in the Dark.
Oh my god! Lights, Camera, and Action is making me rewatch movies.
Yep.
Anyway,
Die Hard. Every Christmas.
Oh, okay,
time.
Die Hard. Okay, that's
Die Hard was good.
Yeah. There are some.
Select occasion.
Yeah. I don't go back and watch fucking like the Marvel movies 10 times over. Like I've seen them once.
Oh, that's just me.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but I'm just like I saw I saw Endgame. I liked it, and I was like, oh, cool. I've had that experience. I'm going to move on. I saw Spider-Man.
Can we not talk Marvel? I'm so hyped this year for everything coming out.
Moon
Knight is amazing.
Oh my god, it is so good. But we're not talking about
anything about it. Not talking anything about it because I'm going to watch it.
I simp for Wonder. It's fine.
Marvel died for me after Spider-Man Far
From Home.
The one that was after the two
after Endgame.
After Endgame and was it Far From Home? That was it. I watched all of them from in the chronological, well, not in the release order. Up, and then we watched Infinity War, Endgame, Far From Home. We watched that on our honeymoon. Actually, some of those.
Jesus.
Nice.
We were into it, mate. We'd watched.
That was great.
15 movies at that point. We're like,
you got to see it. Yeah, absolutely.
What happens with the Infinity Stones? Thanos snapped the shit out of everyone. What happened, bro? Yeah, like serious. And then I'm like Far From Home came, and I'm like, nah, we're done. And
it was a good jumping off point.
Out, and you're like, oh, now you want me to not spend 90 minutes? You want me to spend 7 hours watching all this miniseries? I'm like, come on, mate. Like, nah.
We haven't got anything else better to do. I mean, we play fucking video games.
I was going to say
podcast about them.
Some of us can't game while we work, Matt.
I do not game.
He does not, actually.
I do not.
He's very busy with work.
I am very busy with my new job. They have kept me very much on my toes. My old job, and that's fine. Whatever, that's fine. I'm out of there now, so they can't prove anything. All right, we should probably move on because we've been talking about this for fucking ages. Yep. Cameron, what else have we got?
I'm just trying to think what's going to be the best ones to... All right, I'm quickly going to smash through this. So Chris Novak has left Xbox. When I said it to you guys today, I pretty much got a "who the fuck is that" kind of response.
Yeah, exactly. Who the fuck is Alice? Yeah.
All right, so I'll quickly just go through and just explain who he is. He's a veteran console architect that was the leading creative force in a vision that oversaw the creation of everything from achievements to Game Pass, and a service that upended the way many people buy and play games.
So it's his fault. It's his fault that I'm like this.
Yes.
Damn him.
He studied gambling addiction and applied the model to you. And
look, I mean, if
addiction in general.
If you don't think that Microsoft had a team of psychologists and marketers sitting there and planning this shit,
have you watched this?
100%.
Have you watched the 6 episode mini documentary?
No, of course not.
Okay, that is definitely not what happened.
Cheaper than meth gaming, and it's healthier. So
that's true. I still have all of my teeth.
Get me off the streets.
Yeah. I'm vaguely sane, so
I'm going to say I don't know if it kept me off the streets, but I got to pay for those Radioligers somehow.
All right, moving on. He joined Microsoft back in 2002, a year after the original Xbox launch. Tech giant, still trying to get a foothold in a market dominated by Sony and Nintendo. Super Mario Sunshine had just come to the GameCube. Great game, loved it. GTA Auto.
GameCube.
You know what? Okay.
Purple paperweights with a handle on it.
Nikita blew my mind the other day. Just like, GameCube's not technically a cube, right? Like, what do you mean? It's like wider on one side. It's not technically a cube. We picked up. Yeah, that's just anyway.
Rectangle. It's a game rectangle.
The game prism, for fuck's sake. All right, fine, whatever.
Moving along. It was dominating on the PS2. Xbox had the console port of Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, an exclusive sequel to Jet Set Radio, but no killer hits outside of the previous year's Halo Combat Evolved. Novak's team pushed to expand Xbox Live achievements after seeing how Gotham Racing 2 rewarded players for doing things besides just driving fast. He told Polygon in an interview. That lesson in open-ended play is a clear through line to current-day Xbox. How big is that challenge when you're trying to build experiences of entire games on a device that it was never designed for? That was the challenge at hand, Novak told Polygon. We spent a huge amount of time as part of the xCloud effort, with the xCloud engineers chasing that down and making sure that all the technology allowed us to render this. So he's worked on pretty much like everything from achievements to Game Pass to xCloud.
So it's a big fucking deal.
Yeah.
Right.
Sorry, today I'm just like, I would love to have him on here. Just pick his brain about
from
achievements.
Microsoft that came out to PAX. I thought his name was Chris something.
I mean, Chris, I do know a couple of Chris's myself, Alex. I've actually got a few in my phone book, so it might be him as well.
There's a guy that came to PAX from Microsoft. He works for Microsoft. His gamer tag has something like cat in it. I think his name was Chris something. I'm gonna have to find out who he is. But he was like one of the big dogs at Microsoft. And that's when I saw this name today. I thought it was him, and I was like, oh no, that's a huge loss because he's a legend. I'm gonna have to find his name now. But apart from that, I don't have anything else to add because like everyone else, I'd never heard of him.
But I mean, it's interesting, right? I guess that, like I was joking about him, ruining my entire fucking life. But the idea of that, they were like, oh yeah, achievements, what a novel concept. Like, it seems so fucking obvious looking back on it. You're like, how the fuck is this the first time this came up? Like, we're how many years in?
It's funny. The article I got this from, the top comment is, so this man is responsible for the annihilation of gaming cheat codes. Cheat codes used to be such a cool, unique feature to gaming for achievements. Took that away. From letting you give yourself an in-game boost to exploring areas outside intended gameplay by NoClip, unlocking hidden features from the dev, cheats were a fun, under-the-surface way to engage with the game with near-endless opportunities in all aspects of the game. Happy retirement.
Yeah.
But I still don't know if I can forgive you. Shakes my fist at 16.5-year-old gripe.
There are still games with cheats in them.
Yeah, it's fine.
Most of the time, you just.
I mean, accessibility. What do you call that? Like, it's not a cheat, but it's like it makes it easier, right?
It's the same thing without the code.
The other thing I want to. Actually, there's 2 comments I want to make about that. First one is about relating back to this article. In 2016, following the struggle of the Xbox One, he took over as the head of Xbox research design, overseeing the play experience for everything from Xbox Live to Game Pass to xCloud, now Xbox Cloud Gaming, and the Xbox Series X. So he's had a hand in everything.
Yeah, he's basically been one of the major people at Microsoft for all the Xbox stuff.
And the second thing about cheat codes is, have you guys not played any Chili Dog interactive games lately?
Yeah, I was going to say, I fucking...
I mean...
Up, down, it's up,
maybe
up,
not
down,
you,
down, up, left, right,
up,
right,
down,
left,
down, up,
X.
up, left, right, left.
Is that
right,
Konami
left.
code?
No, Konami code is up, down, left, right, A, B. I think.
A, B, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, A, B, yeah.
Nikita would hit me if she knew that I couldn't retell it.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Also, just don't think about the fact that I recited the code off by heart.
Yeah, Charlotte knows the code really well.
Oh, no.
Anyway.
CBA, CABB.
Oh, yeah.
It's a Mortal Kombat code.
Nice.
I'll just say the headline of this one. Oh, okay, cool. I was going to, but it's blocked me out with a trial subscription.
Yeah, okay, well,
okay.
we'll just talk about it then.
So,
all right.
Microsoft is building an ad program that will let brands advertise in Xbox games such as free-to-play titles. They haven't specified whether that will be like advertising street signs in a racing game,
like
billboards and stuff in game,
banners.
yeah.
Like Burnout Paradise used to do that, but I remember when the election was happening, again, the election, there was Obama billboards all over the place if you lived in the States for the game, because it was just like,
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Australian federal election. Oh.
Yes, no, that's the one. Yeah.
Yes.
No, we got Murdoch for that.
Yeah, he's already
he just advertises for the Liberals.
Yeah.
Wow.
We could make this political podcast, but
no, we could not.
We're not going there.
No,
we're not going down that track.
And I'm quickly going to go over the other article.
Wait, I wanted to talk about that just quickly. It's been really interesting on Twitter seeing people talk about that, because there's one side that's going, don't you fucking put ads in my game, bro.
Mm.
And I still remember, was it NBA 2K20 or 21 that they patched in ads after the release? So it was not mentioned in any reviews.
Yeah.
And you had to sit through them like it was a NBA broadcast, and people fucking lost it.
Like a Doritos
rightly
touchdown
so,
zone and shit.
Because that's bullshit. If that's the kind of ads that if they put ads like that, I legitimately might quit gaming, because I hate stuff like that.
From what I read of the article, they could build up their ad contacts and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, so
which Matt will be able to explain.
Yeah, right. So as someone who sort of works in that area, chances are what they're looking to do is basically be able to generate audiences based on a database that a business has. So, for example, if you have Salesforce or something, you've got a custom audience of your sign-up customers. You want to be able to remarket to them. You can remarket to them on Google, Facebook, Twitter, whatever you want. But this is just potentially offering another option to basically display ads. So I think most likely it'll be display ads within stuff, very similar to like banner stuff. I can't see them wanting to do anything too intrusive, because it's just going to piss people off. And that's bad for Microsoft, that's bad for the players, and it's bad for the company's advertising as well, because that's not what you want. Is the key thing about advertising is not to get your message in front of everyone all the time. It's to get the message there so that when someone has a problem, they remember seeing it at some stage. It's about disruption, not taking over, which is why pop-up ads have basically disappeared. Like that's why like no major brand uses anything like that unless they're on their website where you sign up for a newsletter, and even that's kind of going the way of the dodo. So I mean, realistically, I mean, like, and we've talked about this before, like we've seen brand integration into video games many times. I mean, we've seen achievements like, was it, there was like the
WWE has them a lot, actually.
Yeah, right.
Sponsored achievements.
Exactly. It was like, and there was like Snickers ones and some other stuff.
Snickers, I think there's KFC.
Yeah, and there was a don't be so mayo if we're doing like the Miracle Whip trick on one of the Tony Hawk games or something. Like it's
and that's good. That's the good side. That's the other side of what I was saying. Like if you see that, like someone pasted a picture of a Metal Gear game where if you walk around in the right area, you find a packet of Cheese Supreme Doritos.
Right.
And you go, okay, like, all right, that's kind of cool. That's a real world thing in a video game. Or there was Red Bull. I don't know if they branded them Red Bull in Guitar Hero, but they were there.
Yes, yeah, they were.
There's Monster energy drinks in Death Stranding, which is
they patched those out now, apparently.
Did they really?
For the director's cut, when they brought out the new version of it, I think the sponsorship deal ended, so they just took them out.
Okay. Stuff like that, I go, okay, all right. But if you're going to make me watch ads for stuff, no, I'm not.
That's mobile gaming bullshit.
No, I'm not abiding that.
Like if it's complimentary, like Yakuza has, like you go into the shops and all that, and you can buy the boss iced coffees.
Sure, like
stuff like
universe, that. Yeah.
Like if they're doing it as like consumables and all that, like I'm fine with it. Like whatever.
Actually, one of the games I've been playing this week actually has a history with that, so I'll get into that when we get there. But that's
I just feel like it's a slippery slope, and if you give them an inch in this space, you can be absolutely certain they're going to take a mile.
Yeah, 100% right. And I think my biggest issue with that is there's no real benefit to us, the consumer, for having these ads in these games, right? The thing is, like, look, it used to be that if you bought the ad version, if you play the game, the version of the game that had ads in it, then you got to play it for free or whatever, right?
Yeah.
You just had to put up with ads. This is like, no, dollars to donuts. There's no fucking way these games are getting any cheaper. It's not like, oh, we put ads in it to make it cheaper for you guys. And it's like,
no, there won't be any change in price with the ads being in there.
Fuck no. It's just so they can basically line their pockets.
It's just another revenue stream. That's it. That's all it is. It's for them, not for us.
Yeah, and obviously I'm talking as a consumer here, not a marketer, right? Because obviously, like I understand as from a marketing perspective why you would do that, but as a consumer, get fucked. So
yeah,
would you rather have ads or NFTs?
I mean, they could put NFTs in the game. I don't have to buy those because
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, I can understand if it's like a Kickstarter campaign and that somebody's come in to help them out, get them over the line. At the end of the day, like, we can choose not to support that. That's a little
different. That's a little different. That's like investment, right? That's the being in the game itself.
But if it's a case of like 2K robbing us blind, then it's
fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Right.
Probably lay off 2K. They're not going to like me.
Nah, whatever.
They deserved it. No, they painted themselves into that corner, mate.
They can wipe their tears away with their $100 bills.
Last story, going to be like a one-sentence one, but the co-writer of the Portal games has said he wants Valve to start working on a third game in the series.
I mean, I think everyone's wanted Valve to work on a third game of any of their fucking series. It's just never happened.
All of their series, not any of them.
All of them. Half-Life 3, Left 4 Dead 3, Portal 3, Team Fortress 3. They just can't count to 3. It's literally
wild because anytime someone talks about Valve's development, they're like, "Oh, it's this airy fairy up in the air. Work on what you want." It's like, how's that worked out for you? Have you published a game in the last fucking 10 years?
And then again, talking about people wiping their tears away with their money, Gabe Newell's just been like, "Hey,
we're in hardware now."
Exactly. Yeah, Steam decks are still sold out, so I think they're doing just fine with. They found a strategy that works, and like, you know what? Fuck it.
All right. So speaking on the Kiwi Talks podcast, Eric Wolf-Paul, who co-wrote Portal 1, Portal 2, as well as titles such as Psychonauts, Half-Life 2 Episode 1 and 2, Left 4 Dead, and Half-Life Alyx, ended the show by stating, "We've got to start Portal 3. That's my message."
Wow. Okay, so this is a news story. Thanks, Cameron.
Yeah, he added, "I'm not getting any younger. We are reaching the point where it's crazy to think that we're literally going to be too old to work on Portal 3. So we should just do it."
I mean, Portal is my favorite of the series they ever did. Like, Portal 1 is a near perfect game.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's very minor news.
An orange box.
Oh, yeah.
Challenge rooms.
Yeah.
Nah, bro, no way. No.
I agree.
Although that stupid, was it beat challenge room 5 without dying in Portal 2 co-op? Man, that aged me. I remember I played that from midnight till 5 a.m. with a girl from the UK because one of us kept fucking it up at some point. I'm like, just one more. I'm like, it's 4:30 a.m. It's not happening. I'm like, just one more. And we got it. And then that Professor Portal achievement for taking someone new through. I didn't know you could make a new account and do that. But I'm like, there's only a limited amount of people who can get this achievement. I've got to find someone who can fucking be my bunny for this. I've got to find them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I agree with them. they should do more of their games. I mean, it's wild to me that you have people screaming down your door just about going, give me Half-Life 3, give me Left 4 Dead 3, give me Portal 3. You're sitting on $50 million, $100 million, 200, I don't know, a lot of $1 million. And you just go, oh yeah, we'll use our kind of work on when you feel like it method to get these done. God, mate, just
have an actual plan and do it
to fix all these other ones. It just gets shit done, mate.
Yeah, I think that the thing is, and they've talked about how when the Half-Life came out, they were revolutionary games, right? Like Half-Life 1 is like, again, going back to it was a little rough, but when it came out was something incredible. And Half-Life 2 as well. Half-Life 3, the thing is, they were talking about, Gabe Newell said this, like the only reason they haven't brought it out is because they just haven't thought of an idea that's revolutionary enough that they think is worth it. I think they're over-egging it. I think it's okay for a game to come out and for it not to be the second coming of Christ, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm worried that not everyone shares that opinion. And it's been so long at this point that if the game does come out and it's anything less than a 10 out of 10, they're going to be absolutely lambasted and it's just not worth the hassle.
Well, it's kind of, Duke Nukem might not be the best example of it, but Duke Nukem 3D was revolutionary. And even though it's dated compared to now's times, hugely popular, great game. And then what was it called? Duke Nukem Forever. If that had come out in 2000, it would have been perfectly fine. But now would have thought it was coming out in 2014 or whenever it came out, people are like, nah, bro, times have changed. Yeah. They wouldn't be the only ones that are victims of their own success, but you can also look at a game like Doom. You know, Doom had Doom 1, Doom 2, Doom 3, Doom 2016, Doom Eternal. It's not really reinventing the wheel. And they've been, for the most part, pretty solid games. I mean, I couldn't stand that fucking movement in Eternal, but people liked it and the game worked and it was actually pretty solid. But, you know, I think that Valve are just overthinking it. Because I read, it might have been 5 years ago or something, they leaked the script, the alleged script of Half-Life 3.
One of the old writers did,
pretty good.
It wasn't bad,
I mean, but it doesn't have to be. The gameplay is there. It'll carry it through, update it for modern times. You have a solid story and bang, you get an 8 out of 10 and you're good.
But I think the thing is that the amount of money and time, and then also, like you said, the flat structure that they have where people work on projects they want to work on. Imagine being like, okay, you could work on this massively profitable, because the thing is, I think the big difference with Valve is that they also own Steam. They have a storefront, they have hardware, they have so many other parts of their business.
No incentive.
Exactly. There is no incentive for them to even think about taking a risk on this. Because they are well past the early days where they're a small startup company that was willing to take risks on video games and to make art, you know, and to not get too fucking pretentious about it, but to basically take a risk and say, look, this is something we don't know is going to be a fucking gangbuster. You know, we're not going to fill it full of microtransactions. Like, you know, they're just going to put out a game. And I don't think they're in that same place anymore. And I don't even think they have those same people anymore is the other thing, right? And we talk about this with like places like BioWare, right? Where they obviously shit the bed with Mass Effect Andromeda and Anthem. And we go, oh no, what happened to BioWare? You know, like Mass Effect 1 and 2 and like some of 3 were really good. And like, we love the original Dragon Age. And it's like, yeah, but that was a long time ago. And the thing is that just because you have the same name on the door doesn't mean you have any of the same people. Yep. I mean, like Casey Hudson's joined and left that studio like 4 fucking times. And that's only the people we know about. You know, it's not like we check their LinkedIn for every single person who leaves the business. Like people don't just stick around.
It's the same with Halo as well.
Right, exactly.
Like the people that made Halo 1, 2, and 3. I mean, obviously it's Bungie versus 343, but it's never going to be the same people working on the game. At least if you have the people in charge there, like the creative directors and the leads and all that, you get a vision. Be similar, but there are never ever any guarantees about it.
No, exactly. And I think that's something that we need to remind ourselves of. Is just because the game comes from the studio and has this title on it doesn't mean that it's, you know, it's not like, oh, this is, you know, George R.R. Martin's next book, you know, it's like, or it's the next film from David Fincher. It's like, no, it's like, it's it's a new game from the studio. It's going to have a lot of the stuff that you recognize, but the people who make it might be completely fucking different for all we know, because we don't have insight into that a lot of that time.
Can't one of you two just wander down the road and have a word to him?
I mean, Gabe Newell, yeah, good. Yeah. See what he's up to.
He's in there somewhere. Your country's not that big.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, look, right? If I can get a can of energy drink,
he was down in Wellington somewhere.
Right, yeah. Okay.
If I can get a can of energy drink, my local Coles tell you the address of the back, and it's in the same neighborhood as you, I'm sure it's not that much of a stretch.
Yeah, you're probably not wrong. All right.
I was going to quickly say too, with that, as soon as I heard Second Coming of Christ, all I could think of was Elden Ring.
Yeah, well, I mean, that turned out to be the best game ever made, so I'm perfectly happy with that.
Do you want it back?
Do you want to quickly go through the Game Pass stuff, Cameron?
All right, so there's been a lot of updates this week. Available now, we have F1 2021 coming to cloud, with Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remasters coming to cloud, but Turnip Boy commits tax evasion. Amazing game. Still has 2 unobtainables. I did a deep dive.
I love the name.
It's like Little Misfortune is like this level of dark humor there.
Okay,
this is the exact opposite of like somebody talks to you and you're like question mark. Because like Turnip Boy, why would you commit tax evasion? Don't you know that's highly illegal? And you're just like,
right? Okay,
what?
Yeah.
Like it's just
once they fix that, I'm going to definitely play.
I was going to say as soon as it's fixed, jump on it. I wanted a reason to keep playing it when I did the deep dive, but yeah. April 26th, we have 7 Days to Die, cloud, console, PC. Research and Destroy, which I don't know anything about, but that's also coming cloud, console, and PC. April 28th is Unsold and Bugsnax. Also cloud, console, PC.
This used to be PlayStation timed exclusive.
Yep.
Yeah, which probably I had no idea it was even coming to any other console. So
neither did I. I thought it was permanent exclusive.
So yeah, no, apparently timed. So that's going to be pretty interesting to check out.
Which is annoying because I've already had it spoiled for me what happens, but still.
Some bugs get snacked on.
Yes, spoilers. It's a Pokemon game.
Num.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
Kind of,
but
yeah.
I have to dive it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Ubisoft is also pleased with the performance of For Honor and Rainbow Six Extraction with the Game Pass library. Because over the next 2 months, we're also going to get For Honor Marching Fire Edition. Not sure if that's a new one or if that's like
expansion.
The expansion, or yeah. And then Assassin's Creed Origins, which will be added to cloud, console, and PC. I really enjoyed Origins for what it was. Very long, but
I am surprised you didn't suggest to me the next game we'd play would be Rainbow Six Extraction. Actually,
I dived it. I didn't care for it.
Yeah, it was absolute shite.
It's very it's not bad, but it's just
not good.
It's not bad, but it's not good. Okay.
I will quickly explain this. So, Rainbow Six Siege has the PvP element of it, of you're versing other people, so there's different replayability in terms of the versus match. Yeah. When you're doing a PvE match in Extraction, it's essentially you're going up against the same game mechanics every single time. So it dullens the experience. It should have been an expansion for Siege, and that should have been where they left it.
It started off as one, didn't it?
Yeah, kind of.
It was like a free weekend mode or something like that. But yeah, I think it should have just been an expansion for Siege. Like Siege is still doing massively popular. Doesn't make sense to go from PvP to PvE.
Well, they wanted to expand their audience, right? Because I'm not a PvP player, but I might be interested in PvE. But obviously, not. This is not the way to do it.
It might be different because like Siege did start off relatively.
They were rough.
Smaller.
It was rough.
Yeah,
it was. Yeah, it had not a great launch. It's like the poster child for long tails of games. Anyway, I don't want to get into it because we're already running along.
Yeah. Games that are coming next month though that I highly recommend checking out. Loot River, played the demo for that. It comes out on May 3rd. It really fucking fun. Trek to Yumi is also on my must-watch list for May 5th.
Did you see the tweet they put out making fun of Sonic?
What, Devolver?
The Sonic put out their little, this is what you get with each edition. It had like 5 or 6 columns and all these, you get this and you get that. And then Trek to Yumi's like, buy this edition, and they were like all the same edition. And it's like you get all the content. They made fun of it. I just thought it was very funny. But yeah, I'm interested.
You'll have to show me that post later.
Yeah, it makes sense when you have a visual of it. Yeah, good call.
Shadowrun Trilogy console edition launching the Game Pass on June 21st got announced, which will have 1K for Shadowrun Returns, Shadowrun Hong Kong, and Shadowrun Dragonfall Director's Cut.
Amazing games, but like if you think those are going to be easy lists, you're out of your fucking mind. Those are going to be big ones.
But you know what? It's not all combined in one list as 1K, so I'm happy.
Right, happy with that.
Yep.
I did not know there was more than one Shadowrun game, so there you go.
Yep.
And we had the announcement of 3 games leaving Game Pass, which is Streets of Rage 4, which I would say avoid because it's a 50 to 60 hour base game.
Yeah.
Might be a bit of a stretch. Outlast 2, which I've seen go on sale plenty anyway, so whatever. And Cricket
in general.
Huh?
Yeah.
I've heard it's good, but like in terms of achievements, like it's a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
It's like a 1 battery mode or something, isn't it?
Yeah, to finish the same mode.
And Cricket 19, which is everybody's favorite cricket. Right, Alex?
I played one of the cricket games in Game Pass. It took me about 10 hours, and I think it was 3000 TA.
Which one?
Just played it with a second controller. Mate, it was easy.
I think you talked about it last time, actually. Yeah, right. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was actually a lot of fun. And I played Big Bash Boom.
Of course.
Which I bought for $5.
Yeah,
it took me a lot longer. Yeah, that one.
Very, very long game, that one.
10,000 runs, 1,500 wickets. Yeah, no.
Jeez.
But yeah, both console and PC versions of all 3 games are affected. Yeah, Cricket 19 left, but I'm pretty sure Cricket 22 got added.
Yeah.
Recently, so get the latest and greatest in cricket. And then a whole bunch of cloud gaming games got touch controls like Hitman Trilogy and Lawnmower. I'm gonna go for the whole list. Check it out on TA.
Right. All right. Let's get into what we've been playing then. I'll just quickly go through. I've got a short list. So I finished up Paradise Killer. I made a mistake last week, and I was like, "This is a game only the Japanese can make." I was 100% wrong. It was made by a British developer. However, it is the most Japanese game I've ever played. It's so like, okay, your main character, Lady Love dies. She they do the thing like they do in those kinds of like visual novel games where instead of saying the whole line, they just have like a quip. They have like 10 quips that they work through.
Yeah.
One of her quips is "Nani the hell," which is Nani, which is like, what? Like in Japanese, but it's like, so Nani the hell, but said 100% straight in like the Nani. It's that game is amazingly weird, and I had such a good time with it. Like I took me about 12 hours to finish. There is an achievement for speedrunning the game in 10 minutes, where you start the game off and they're like, okay, go look for clues, and you just turn around and start the trial right then and accuse one person, and then just fucking you pull out your gun, you execute the person if they found guilty, and then you just walk off into the sunset and you get an achievement.
Wow.
Yeah, but I went through and did it. Yeah, so I did that at the end. But
I wonder how the first 24 worlds failed.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but yeah, this game is a testament to world building, literally and figuratively. Because it's so interesting to just understand like how you get into a situation, you're like, what the fuck is this? None of this makes sense. And suddenly like they explain it and reveal things to you in a way that instead of being like, exposition dump on you where it's like, oh, as you know, and they tell you stuff, like it's more about like exploring an environment, learning things from conversations with people. It's like, you've got the excuse about being away for like 3 million days or whatever. So things have changed. So there's some stuff that you need to relearn, but it's kind of like, it's on Game Pass. Everyone needs to play this game so I can talk to them about it. Holy shit. The trial at the end, like it's not, the whole thing about the game is like, you pick your truth. So I had a bunch of different people I had like, a bunch of like evidence, and I could be like, well, I think I know this person did this, or I could accuse this person of doing this. For the judge says who's guilty of doing this, and you're like, well, technically 2 different people maybe, or there's more evidence for this person. And it's like, well, I know it's this person, but if I accuse this person, I know that they'll roll on the other person and give me more evidence. So anyway, there's a lot more choice than I was expecting. Highly recommend it. Everyone should play it. I love the art style. I literally have the Spotify like on loop in the house. I just cannot stop listening to the soundtrack. It's so fucking good. I also played through a bunch of trash. I've hit my 150,000 for the month. So I'm not doing any more trash. I've decided that that's my limit. I'm just playing stuff that I actually want to play. One of the things I played was Agatha Christie, the Poirot's First Cases. It's kind of just like a fun, point and click murder mystery kind of thing. It's whatever. It was fine.
Poirot, or the guy that plays him, has a very punchable head. I don't like it. I don't know why. I just don't like it.
That's fair.
That's fair.
Poirot is also kind of a fucking asshole.
He really is. He's such a douche.
He's a fucking prat. And this game is like one of his early cases, and you're like, wow, no, you were always a douche. Okay. I also started up Alan Wake Remastered. So we were talking about advertising in video games. So it's all been taken out of the remastered version, but I remember the original had Verizon billboards everywhere and Energizer batteries. Which is very funny because the whole thing was that you burn through the batteries so quickly that you have to keep replacing them, which is the opposite of what a good advertisement would do for Energizer batteries, right?
It's kind of like Walking Dead. I think it's the first or second episode. They have a what's it called? Chevy Camaro. I think it is a red Chevy Camaro.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, it's easy to hotwire this or something. And
right.
And you're like, that's not a good ad for your car.
No, that's not a good ad at all.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
So have you finished Alan Wake Remastered?
No, so I just started it. So I did like the first episode, and I'm kind of halfway through episode 2. I'm kind of taking it slow. It's been a long time since I played it, but man, I really I love the storytelling in this game. It has that obviously like Stephen King, The Shining kind of like interesting mystery, weird shit going on. And they reference it like it's very self-aware of itself, and it's also kind of a little bit tongue-in-cheek. And I'm obviously super excited for Alan Wake 2 when that comes out.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, man, the ending, I know I've mentioned this on podcasts in the past, but the ending to that game, I used to work in accommodation, and every time I would see the word departure, every time I would think of Alan Wake. So for weeks after I finished Alan Wake, I was like, oh my God, it's not a lake, it's an ocean. Man, it's great.
I know, like the thing is, playing through it isn't as smooth as it's still, the worst part about that game is playing it, unfortunately, right?
It's clunky.
It's like, it works, but it's not like they definitely improved it in like American Nightmare with some of the extra stuff they added. And I'm really hoping that they refined it a bit more, but I'm really enjoying it, going back to it. I'm having a good time. I'm not skipping any of the cutscenes or anything. I'm actually taking it all in and taking my time with it. It is a 360 game though, and the faces looking, I mean, like obviously they've done work, right? They've done work to remaster it, but yeesh, it's still like a little like, you're like, ooh, okay, there's only so much you can do with the base template. But so I'm excited for the next one. And then the main thing I've been playing is the Surge 2. So I talked a few weeks ago about how much I enjoyed the first one. Second one went on sale for it was like 80% off or something ridiculous. So I picked it up because I missed it when it was in Game Pass. I got it with the DLC. I am on the last stretch. I think I've got maybe like an hour left of the game, and then it's the final boss. So I put like 25 hours into this week. It's great. It's such a good game. It took everything from the first game and was like, okay, this idea did not work at all, but we like this. We want to steal a bit more of this from Dark Souls, but we're going to ease up on this. It's like, oh, they're cutting off limbs and fucking strapping them to you for armor. Keep that. Change the leveling system. Make the fast travel easier. Make the environments more interesting. Make the combat a bit more fun. And just kind of cheese it up a bit more and go even more crazy and ridiculous. Definitely recommend it. It's a great game if you're at all interested in the Soulsborne style games. It's just another great entry in that series, and I think it's the best one that Deck 13 have done. Coming all the way from Lords of the Fallen to Surge 1 and then this. And I don't know what's happening with Surge 3, but I know that there's a little bit of talk about it. But yeah, that's me for this week. That's all I've had time to play. So I'm 14,440.
I could say your game score is surging.
It is, yes. It was surging, and now it's on departure.
It's leveled out.
Alex, do you want to run us through what you've got?
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. I've been playing, like I said, I was going to stick to a few of the bigger games that I've played. I played the Life is Strange Before the Storm remaster a little while ago.
Cool.
everyone that knows me knows I bloody love Life is Strange. Excellent. And then Before the Storm, not 2, but everything else. I was, for the most part, it was okay, but there were just some things that I was a bit disappointed about. Towards the end of the game, Chloe dyes her hair blue, which is what you see in Life is Strange. She already has her blue hair. And I just had some graphical hang-ups, like when she put the blue dye in her hair, it affected the room around her and made the room blue. And I was just like, what? This is not right. I played this and I know this is not right. And then she goes from there out to the junkyard and it was like hanging up on the graphics. Some of the environment stuff didn't load. Like she's driving around in this car and where the bushes were supposed to be was just white because they didn't load. And like signs in the background didn't load. So she's driving around in like a half loaded environment. And I was like, I don't know. It just soured it for me a little bit. I think it has to do with memory leaking because I was reading a little bit about it afterwards.
Okay.
So I was about 10 minutes. I quit the game and went back in and it seemed to be okay from there. I think, I don't know. It didn't happen in the 360 game, that's for sure. But
yeah, there definitely were some reports of both of the remasters having some sort of graphical issues.
I'm nervous because I played Life is Strange into Before the Storm on the 360, so I thought this will go the other way, the chronological story. And now I'm a bit nervous to start Life is Strange, but it is a good way to play the game. Still a bloody great story. Definitely recommend it. But don't play it for too long without quitting the game and going back in, perhaps, if you want best performance. I played Tell Me Why, which I think was also Don't Nod.
That's a Don't Nod, yep.
Yeah. Before the Storm was Deck 9, wasn't it?
That was I am blanking, but they're the ones who did True Colors as well.
Yeah, it was Deck 9.
Was it Deck 9? Yeah, Deck 9. Yeah,
I think it's Deck 9.
Deck 9.
But
Yeah,
anyway,
I think you're right. Yeah,
I always think about them two interchangeably. Don't Nod and Deck 9 because they've had so many crossover. But Tell Me Why. Really kind of interesting story. It was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Yeah. Interesting story about your mom, and I probably can't go too much into the story. It's a lot like Life is Strange. So if you like Life is Strange, you will like Tell Me Why. I liked it. I thought it was really, really a lot of fun. It's, I don't know, maybe 10 to 12 hours to finish it.
It's only 3 episodes, which I actually kind of worked for the story it was kind of trying to tell. Because I was at first I was like, oh, it's not 5 episodes like Life is Strangers. I don't know if it's gonna.
That's what I thought too. But the episodes were longer than Before the Storm. That's for sure. I will say for those that have played it, when how do I say it without spoiling it? In the 3rd episode, when you find out there's a trapdoor, and you go through the trapdoor, that sheer was just crazy, man.
Yeah,
that was. I looked at that and I was like, wow.
Well, you and Matt discussed it on the spoiler cast.
Not Tell Me Why.
I think we mentioned it, but I don't think we didn't go through it because it isn't technically part of the series.
Okay.
So yeah, play that. It's still on Game Pass. That's how I got it. I played Shredders and I played it day 1. Day 1 or day 2, I started and I was like, I'm hesitant, always hesitant to jump in a game like that. But for the most part, it worked. I found it really tricky. Some of the high-end tricks or moves that you do. Like, I know you mentioned this, Camry, like, how do you do a 1260? It's like you hold down jump and then you hold the right stick to the left, you flick that to the right, and then the left stick to the right as well. And you're like, how many fucking fingers have I got, mate? Like, you do it a little bit and it kind of makes sense, but it's
like I found it
easy to do.
It was really enjoyable up until the end game. Well, the last few things where you're just trying to replicate some of the tricks are just all right. Joe Blow is showing off here doing a 2850, something crazy, and it's like, mate, how do I think
the biggest I did was a 1440, perhaps, but you got to get off a big jump for that.
I'm just benchmarking. Yeah, 1440 is probably something.
It's a great game, and I think to finish, the achievements are pretty fair, and you unlock stuff like clothing and customization items by finishing the additional objectives as well in the main story. But you don't have to do all of them. I don't even think you need to do 3/4 of them to get enough to get it done. So, if you're struggling with something, go, fuck it, just go to the next level. You don't even have to finish all the levels to finish the story. Because there are some that are like side levels. It didn't take me to those levels. So I'm like, okay.
It's good for an indie. And I
really liked it. I'm pretty sure I gave it a 5 out of 5 because I really enjoyed it. With it.
That's good.
I quite like the cringe.
I love the character Canute. It's just the story, mate. The story is good. So tongue-in-cheek. They're like, oh, you need to get up the mountain. Oh, here's Canute. He'll take you up the mountain. Yeah. And he goes, Canute. And your character goes, surely that won't work. And then all of a sudden he's like, hey, bro. And you're like, what? Where did you come from? And you're like, I don't know, game mechanics, It just leads into that. And it's really cheesy. And then all of a sudden, he also is the helicopter driver.
Right, of course.
And it's like, there's a big party happening. And it's like, who's running the party? Well, Canute's running the party. Well, who's the event organizer? Who else is it going to be? It's Canute. It leans into it. And it made me laugh. I thought it was so funny.
I was so glad when I played that, going from Amped 3 to that. Like, even streaming Amped 3, like having that level of humor is so fucking funny. Some of these snowboarding games are great. Like, when they don't take themselves seriously is like when the
I ended up being 27th to finish that. I think the gaps at the end are a little bit tricky because it's not always clear what you need to do. And I watched a video for the last 5 or 10 of them. I was doing the same thing as in the video, and some of them just weren't registering. Right. So you just got to bang your head against the wall a little bit to get that done. But yeah, definitely play Shredders. Excellent game. It's maybe 10 to 12 hours. Played Mighty Goose, which is big Metal Slug vibe.
Yes.
Man, that's a good game. That's a really good game. It's just, like I said, just like Metal Slug. It's fun. Story's fun. The boss comes out and you're like a duck and you're like, quack. I don't know. It's just funny, man. It's just funny. I love that game. It's a lot of fun. It's also in Game Pass, so
cool.
Not that long to finishing. That was about 6 hours. I played Undertale, which I'd heard about for a long time. That is a weird game.
Yep.
And I reckon it would have taken me 5 times longer if I had have not followed a guide. I did end up watching someone play through the end game on YouTube after I got the last achievement because I'm like, well, what happens? You're talking about a final boss.
Right. Yeah.
I think the achievements let it down there by not having to at least play against the final boss, which also that final boss, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
like I didn't finish, but I didn't know that you didn't have to do, like, you could skip over the final boss. So I actually started the final boss and got through the second phase, and then was like, you know what, I'm gonna just pause this for now, and I'm gonna just come back to this later.
It is hard. Like, I watched it on YouTube and it looks extremely difficult.
Yeah.
It's not even like a bullet hell game, which you can kind of move around the bullets if you're good enough. It's like you get lucky or you get wrecked.
Yeah.
And I don't
100%.
think that that's necessarily fair. But the game, it's a lot of fun. It's very different to the kind of game that, I was expecting a little bit different because I'd heard enough about it, but I wasn't expecting what I got. And it's definitely worth a playthrough.
I still can't believe it got mainstream appeal, right? Like, I can't believe so many people love that game. It's one of those, like, again, like we talk about weird games that we find all the time, right? And it's like Undertale was the one that everyone was like, this is the one that we're all going to talk about. This is the one we're all going to love. I'm glad because I really enjoyed Undertale, but like, it's just interesting that, I guess, because everyone loves Toby Fox and he's such a nice guy and he's kind of really kind of personable and one guy who did everything.
Yeah, I remember seeing his name a lot in the credits.
Yeah.
So I'm like, let's just be him. Well, the last game that I wanted to talk about, which you've heard Cameron talk about for weeks, is Generation Zero.
Ah, yes.
at this point, I'm 3 achievements away from finishing it. I think Cameron's 4.
Yeah, I've just got the close one that you.
Yeah, you got the close one. Yeah. So we've got 3 collectible achievements left, and I'm not gonna lie. I thought there was a time I didn't think we were going to finish this game. I didn't think that the game gave you the tools to finish it in a fair amount of time.
Right.
But there's stuff it just doesn't tell you. It's like, you start with 80 kilos. It limits your storage in your storage box, right? Which I think should never do that. It's like, did you know you can upgrade it? Well, I didn't know until I was about 30 hours into the game. And then there's a little upgrade button at the bottom of the screen. So you upgrade it. And they're like, oh, you can upgrade it again, but you've got to get these materials. Like, how do you get them? I was about 40 hours into the game where I started recycling all the shit that I didn't need in the box because I didn't have enough room in the box. And it's like, oh, you can recycle stuff to get that. And by the time I got that, I didn't need the room in the box because I'd recycled 3/4 of my shit. So it's at times it's frustrating. I just wish that it told you things a little bit more.
It's very much a sandbox that they've built from the ground up. Like, and not really thought of like how to introduce new players to it.
Yeah, they built systems because they understood. Then they wanted. It's like, oh, I want to do this. I remember you guys have been talking about this game for ages, like on and off. Like you guys have been playing this. I remember Alex, you started it like what, years ago at this point, just about.
I think it was over a year ago, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. And just being like, oh, we played this weird Swedish. It's the Swedish one, right? So
80 Sweden.
80 Swedish robot game. And I was like, oh, I remember you talking about that. That sounds weird as shit. Well, guess we'll never hear about that ever again.
November 2020.
Right, yeah.
The first day I played it. But in between those things, when you figure out those things, the game it's like Far Cry, but good. Like, it's open world. It doesn't slap you in the face with too many icons. It gives you some stuff to go and do. Not too much stuff. It gives you enemies, and the challenge is there. You will get slapped down by the big dogs. You will be able to power through, the smaller enemies. They will throw too many of the smaller enemies at you later in the game in the more challenging areas. I don't know that I would recommend playing it solo because it would just be too frustrating. You need at least 2 people. I think 4 people probably would be too many as well. I don't think it scales with extra players. I could be wrong about that, but I don't think it does.
I think 3 is just
3 would probably be the sweet spot. It would still provide challenge along with a fun experience. But it's for the first 3/4 of it, I wasn't sure what was happening in the story. And then we played like the last 2 or 3 missions. I'll get to that. And then you're like, oh, so that's where all the people have gone. And I don't know, I didn't see it coming. Maybe I should have, but I didn't see it coming.
The problem is too, the story's like really fucking good, but it's all in Swedish. Like you've got English subtitles, and that's it.
So you just need Matt to translate it for you.
Hey, Matty. Where have you been, mate?
I was talking about this where we had dinner with my mum and my family the other night, and we were just talking about speaking Swedish. And I was like, your mum's
playing Generation Zero as well. That's weird.
Well, because my mother speaks Swedish because that's where my dad's from. Yes. And so we were talking about how I started my new job, and there's a guy there. He's Dutch and he's from Norway. And I made the mistake of mentioning that I was originally Swedish. And so he starts talking to me in sort of the Swedish that he knows. And I'm like, oh shit. Like I was like, I know a tiny bit of Swedish. Like I know a few words, but like had that awkward moment where I just had no idea what the fuck he was saying. Because he was like, oh, Swedish. Yeah, I know Swedish. It's like, oh, fuck, of course you do. But maybe this is a good reason for me to get back into learning it. The reason I never learned it was because no one speaks it. So even people in Sweden don't speak it; they all speak English. So
there's a few people that speak it.
Yeah, but it's like everyone in Sweden speaks like.
But everyone just speaks English.
Everyone speaks the best English you've ever heard.
Yeah. Well, we don't. We certainly don't in Australia.
No, yeah, it's like no, you just speak
English.
English.
We speak the bestest English in Australia.
Oh, okay.
G'day, mate. You want to throw a shrimp on the barbie?
Oh, Jesus, Cameron.
You want to throw a snag on the Bunnings visit. That's what you want to do. Also,
Cameron, we're muting you there. I'm cutting this all out.
He's getting a timeout.
we have the election next month, and if there's not a sausage sizzle on, I'm not voting at your site. Not even. No.
100%.
Yep, that's fair.
You just want your snag, mate.
I mean, that's my reward for a job well done. Okay.
I mean, also it is the law, right? You legally need to vote.
Yeah, it's like a $50 fine if you don't vote. I think it's $50 because
imagine how many snags you could buy for $50.
What's more important, going to Bunnings on a Saturday to get a snag, or going to the election to vote?
Why not have both?
Yeah, why not have both?
Provide both.
And get a sausage at both, mate. That's the way.
Yeah,
free sausage if you vote. Done.
That way you can support democracy and your local calisthenics club, like I did last weekend when I bought 2 sausages at the Bunnings.
So there's a main intersection, like for all the suburbs. I'm gonna be very.
This is a worry, mate.
I can already see where this story.
All right,
is
so we went
a set of traffic lights.
We went and got pizza, and of course there's the guy with like doing the whole like burning the sign and all that United Australia Party. And I just went to Nikita. I'm just like, how far have you fallen to be out here at 7:30 in the cold, in the pitch black, swinging a sign for the United Australia Party?
God.
I'm not saying you should have Carmageddoned him. But if you did, I'll be a character witness at your trial, mate, all right?
Hey, Alison, you used to dress up in a pizza outfit and swing a sign around, right? That was at least slightly better.
Well, last thing I'll mention about Generation Zero is this fucking eye patch. Cameron, don't worry, man. I haven't forgotten about it. So
it's getting there.
There's 2 clothing-related achievements. There's get 200 pieces of different clothing, and the game will give you repeats.
I see.
I picked up about 20 green and black gas masks along the way, but that only counts for 1 each. You have to find an eye patch. There are 2 different eye patches. There's an eye patch and a pirate eye patch. I think there's an experimental eye patch. Doesn't count. There are 2 valid eye patches, I believe. I had the 200 pieces of different clothing achievement for days. Couldn't find a fucking eye patch.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
And I'm like, oh, Cameron, at this time, I was like 5 achievements ahead of Cameron. I'm like, you're going to beat me to this because I can't get an eye patch. So there's a hotel on the DLC island, which has about 30 or 40 containers in it that you can loot and may have clothing in them. But once you finish looting it, you have to go and like do some other stuff for a few hours before it respawns. Right. And you can't like do it one day, come back the next day and do it. No. Like I'm pretty sure it's in-game time or in-game missions. It's something. So I reckon I looted those. It was on I did it 4 times. No eye patch. And then it was randomly going around collectibles with Cameron. I found one, I looted, and I was like, yeah, come on. Finally got it. I almost looked at it, and I'm like, oh, I don't need. Oh, wait, yeah, I do need that. So
I like the fact that you didn't even mention that beforehand. We've had so many conversations about eye patch. And then one day when we first brought up the achievement, it was like, all right, discussing it. I looked at my menu. I'm like, oh, what?
I've already got one, mate. Of course I have. Shut up, Cameron.
I just chuck it on, and I was like, oh, there's an achievement. Sweet.
Yeah.
And then I progressed into what? Like a pink fanny.
Oh, your purple tracksuit.
Fanny pack.
Like purple leggings and leggings stuff. Right.
Yeah, I'm just like, all right, cool. I need to rub it in.
It was nice, mate. It was good. But that's all I've really got to talk about. I'm 3 achievements away from 96% completion. Nice. I did 3,945 gamer score for the week, which isn't much, but
no, it's a good effort.
Plodding along.
Real good effort.
You have the edge?
You know what? I see it there, and I'm like, oh.
Hey, mate, got it done.
I know for absolute certain there are more achievements I can get. I don't think I have the patience to finish it, but the thought occurs to me regularly.
We'll revisit the idea when you want a new TV.
What?
We'll revisit the idea when you want a new TV.
Yeah,
when I want a new TV.
When you want to throw a controller or two, yeah.
Yeah, tombstone it off the top rope. Yep. Okay.
Yeah. Always love a good Hurricane runner.
I love that. Oh man, I've been so excited about that reference, and Cameron still doesn't know.
No, doesn't get it. Yes.
I asked him at the party, and he's like, "What? Hurricane? What?
That's fine.
Speaking of Cameron, what have you been playing?
I'm gonna quickly smash through mine. So I've talked about Call of Duty, Infinite Warfare before. Pretty much got one achievement for Skull Hop in the third map, which if you fail, apparently breaks the Easter egg, so you have to repeat it every single time. Oh. So Sly tried to help me with that yesterday. We went in, and then he's like, "All right, because there's like different colored platforms. Space invaders in front of you with skulls. You need to craft cubes, hit them at it, and hit nukes with it to get rid of it, right? There's platforms that you actually have to be on in this that match with the corresponding color in front of you. Jump on that platform, grab the cube, throw it over to the skulls, clear it with the nuke. You so far?
Yeah. Oh, it's Infinite Warfare, not Advanced Warfare. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Sly went in there telling me, like, all right, I've set up these Easter eggs. Fall off, reset you back on the first platform, jump down to the colored platform and stop it. 3 lives in this. What do you think happened?
You
ran ahead.
Immediately off his advice, we lost 2 lives.
Oh boy.
In 50 minutes into a run.
That's good.
So then one of us went down again, and that. But pretty much have 2 base game achievements. That one that's gonna drive me crazy because I hate that DLC map. Worst out of all. Infinite Warfare is a good game, but that one DLC really pisses me off. Other than that, I really talked a little bit about Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion before. When the achievements get fixed, definitely check it out. It is very cutesy level, like funny kind of. Reminds me of the Game Boy Advance Zelda games, just with like a few more like fetch quests kind of.
Oh, okay.
Things. Like go find a sword, break through some bushes, get to a certain level, and then just that kind of thing. Yeah. Jackbox 8 Weapons Drawn. I've been playing that with some streamers lately. That one we really need to get because essentially you draw 2 weapons that have a letter. You get a letter that's matching your name. You have to hide the letter in your drawing. And then it's basically kind of like Among Us, but everybody's an imposter and a detective at the same time, mixed with Drawful. So
that sounds painful.
It's really hard to understand the first time, but as soon as you like do a drawing, you like hide things as carefully as you can, and then you throw in like a few like phony letters to kind of throw people off. You as a group, like you get 2 options: is everybody's murdering at the same time. You go like case 1 or case 2. You're in case 2. Obviously, you want to try and steer the audience towards case 1, and then it goes off like, have you made the most correct guesses in terms of detective? Have you made the most kills? And third thing that I'm forgetting, but it's a ton of fun. Like it's one of those things that like you don't need to be really good at. Like you can be good at one aspect of the game, but like horrible at the other. You'd be horrible at the drawing, but you could be getting the guesses right every round because you're understanding what people are drawing. It's definitely the most fun in Jackbox 8. Other than that, bunch of baby trash. Quickly say Serious Sam 4, that's in Game Pass.
Right.
Really, I mean, it's just small series.
Yeah, like there's nothing new about it. It's just more of the same.
Reminds me of like a Duke Nukem type.
Yeah, it's like a Duke Nukem
type of.
It's very like old school Doom in a way too.
Oh yeah, they throw like the thing is they throw a million enemies at you. They have guys who have headless guys who run at you screaming with bombs attached to their hands, that kind of thing. It's like it's just wacky shit.
Actually, speaking of the bombs, that one repeating sound effect for the bomb guys. I was just like, no.
I love it.
I just had to put music over it. It was too much.
That's how you know. That's how you know they're showing up. Otherwise, they run into you and blow up. But if you're playing on easy,
I'm playing on tourist. It's fun.
Psychos do the same thing in Borderlands.
Yeah, but that's not.
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
condescending as it sounds as these guys. So painful. Anyway, so yeah, been smashing through that, and the other one is Overcooked.
Oh right.
Been getting into Overcooked All You Can Eat again because I have the completions for both 1 and 2 on console. Really like Overcooked as a game. Don't really know anybody that has all you can eat. So I just started smashing through it. Has an assist mode, so it's really easy just to do a few levels at a time. Not really much else to say other than just typical Overcooked. And the last game I want to talk about is I started my new job on Tuesday. So
I've heard of that game before. Is it good?
Doug Casey's job. Sorry, I haven't played that in a minute. Yeah, so I started my new job on Tuesday for a game publisher. They have one published title called The Single State, which I'm still trying to wrap my head around because dealing with logic puzzles solved with modular synthesizers.
Jesus Christ.
And it's like, it looks cool.
I don't know what you just said.
You know modular synthesizers? You use them to solve logic puzzles. It's very, like, it's above my head.
I mean, I've got that from the one.
I would love it,
but
yeah, Charlotte would be super good.
It's right down my alley.
It's it's very, very niche, but it's pretty cool at the same time. I'm just trying to figure out how to play it. I've been play testing a game called Sigil the Magi, which is in early access Steam at the moment, which is a deck building roguelike game.
A what?
Deck building.
Deck.
Wow,
building.
okay, that is not what you said.
A deck building.
Duck building?
Roguelike.
Did I say duck building?
It sounded like a dick building game, and I was like, what?
Deck building roguelite.
Deck.
Where you essentially you get given the map. You pick your group of characters, which I usually go with the knight, the wizard, and the archer. You get like a map with all these different icons, like small battles, big battles, like event cards, that kind of stuff. Land on this map. You're trying to progress as far as you can. A lot of like positional, like status effects and that kind of stuff. So like if you've got all 3 characters bunched together, like the knight will get +2 attack and that kind of. So there's a lot of strategy involved to it. I'm working on like the balancing. Like I've done like 5 or 6 playthroughs this week, messing around with the balancing of it, and it's like just to give feedback to the developer. It's hard. Like it looks amazing, but it is hard.
It's a roguelike though. I mean, that's kind of usually.
That's how it is. Yeah.
And I'm fortunate enough to have the dev build at the moment, which has an auto win feature and a reset battle feature, which will not be in the final build of the game.
In the end of the game, yeah.
It's not going to be in the final build of the game.
They'll remove it as soon as you get all the achievements for it. You'll be like, all right, 100% done.
Yeah, no, it looks amazing. Like dealing with the socials, that kind of stuff for at the moment. Job's been great, but I can't wait to see it actually get played by people because I'm actually really enjoying it. It's just very, very hard. Which a typical like Slay the Spire. Okay, funny work story from today, yeah. Roguelite deck building games on Twitter and all that. That's where most of the game dev community is for them. So I was looking through each individual, like, all right, there's Slay the Spire, we've got like Monster Train, we've got like those similar kind of games, yeah. So I'm like, I want to find out what kind of presence there is on TikTok. So like Slay the Spire, there's a few videos there, some with like 2K views, like nothing major. Get to Monster Train searching on TikTok. And I'm quickly reminded that there is an upcoming Steam game that is basically a demonized version of Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yes.
Oh my god.
There is. Have you seen this?
Oh god.
I know you've seen it, Matt, but this game is fucking sick. Something Thomas, it's called.
Yep.
I have heard of this. Yeah,
so,
I haven't seen it, but yeah.
So if I'm searching for hashtag Monster Train, which I was hoping to get some like, you know, like some dev inside of that, like how to go on TikTok, what kind of content to post, and I just get, you know, Demon Thomas the Tank Engine. Probably not what I'm like. My colleagues, my 2 colleagues too, have the same level of dad jokes as me. I've dialed it back my first week because I'm like,
oh no,
I'm just like, all right. I woke up this morning to I'm just eating veggies. Oh, what a way to celebrate. And stuff like that. And I'm just like, yep.
It was more, and that wasn't even you making
that wasn't me.
And you're as bad as them.
Yes.
Fuck. Okay, all right, well. I might need to sort out a drone strike or something.
It's extreme, man. Holy shit.
No, I've been looking for a job for a year. But yeah, like when I start doing some social posts and that, expect lots of puns.
Great.
There's a card in this game called Gust of Wind that can move you like one space, and I'm just gonna make so many like blew you away puns and stuff like that. But anyway, a lot of trash I've also played. I'm on 24,280. I can't really remember anything other than Paugy games, because Paugy games actually enjoyable. I played a Wordle clone. I can't remember the name of it, but it was enjoyable. And I started Weird West. That was the other one too. Did like an hour dive into that, and that was
name is Choo Choo Charles, Cameron.
Choo Choo Charles.
Yeah, the guy streams him making certain things on Twitch as well. But yeah, that mate, I'm not a horror game player, but I'll play that if it comes to Xbox.
I mean, I might even play it on Steam just to get that experience. But yeah, and I'll quickly just touch base on Weird West. It's really enjoyable, other than the fact that the aiming feels a little bit off, and I really wish it had voice acting, but it's an indie, so I can forgive it for that. But I think when there's some proper guides out that help with the 27 missable achievements, I probably will do a proper playthrough. But it's quite good.
All right.
Yeah. Sell it.
I'm easy. I've had an ADHD week, so I have not played anything, basically. I've been doing enough to keep my streak alive, which is at like 243 days or something like that. I've been working on an Artifacts Monday game. What look?
I said, Matt, what's up? Look?
I mean, it's just fucking
you just wanting her to trip and fall?
So stop your streak. Yeah, Family Mysteries. I've been working on the first one. I've been streaming a Plague Tale. I did a little bit of Saints Row 3 with Matt, and I completed Invento, which I fucking loved. It was the cutest little puzzle game doing sushi boxes and cats. What's not to love? So I did 1,220 this week. That's me.
Easy.
What is Invento?
It's like it's
a puzzle game. Legit.
Squares.
What I just said.
Cute. Very cute.
Puzzles.
Like I mean, like I was trying to
puzzles.
I was trying to visualize
Sushi puzzles.
It's like if you have a bento box, you're moving blocks around.
Okay.
To fit them in the box.
You just have to fit the blocks in. It's like Tetris kind of thing.
Never had it.
Yeah,
it's very cute. Invento.
Games of Dane did the walkthrough for it. It's pretty good.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. There's some really easy walkthroughs around because it was on phone. It's like a phone game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's weird hearing Dane's voice on an Achievement Land video.
It is, right? It is. You're like, oh shit.
Like, oh yeah, how you going, mates? It's Dane, and you're like, hey, that's not Bills.
You go check out my YouTube channel.
Okay.
You want to do the leaderboard, Charlotte?
Yeah. So in third place we have Neomaster with 14,490. In second place we have Shadowless Edge on 24,280, and in number one place we have Jimbot UK on 41,803.
It's mad.
And then we've also got the completion shoutouts as well. So Hack and Pone did heaps of Windows Phone games. Boz did Fast and Furious Spy Racers Rise of Shifter. Dish completed Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga. Red completed Fallout 3, Fallout 4, and New Vegas. Keo Olive live at home finished Terra. Chapter finished Lego Harry Potter 1 to 4, years 1 to 4. Aftos reached 290,000 gamer score. And we have Baron von Neumann completing Hood, Outlaws and Legends, MLB The Show 22, and Darkest Dungeon PC.
Perhaps you're not putting his baby games in.
No, I guess not. Yeah, he's maybe
not at the moment. He's probably busy again. He gets busy occasionally.
I was gonna
check up on him occasionally.
I'm gonna quickly say Ruterra.
Yeah, so the Asian version is just closing. They've announced that they're going to be closing the standard version as well at some stage. I don't think they've said exactly when, but I did see the announcement for that. Because I was thinking about playing it because I know Valak and the others have already done it, but I don't know if I need that sort of stress in my life. We also do have a question this week from my good friend Isaac. He says, "Hey guys, I've been playing Slay the Spire on xCloud ever since you guys suggested it as a game to play in short bursts. Having this game available on Game Pass on xCloud really justifies the service for me, and I can easily pop into a game anytime. However, I'm sure it'll inevitably be removed from Game Pass, and I'll have to complete it elsewhere. Are you scared to start games on Game Pass since you know they'll leave at some point, and you might not have enough time to complete them? Or do you just play whatever and then buy the game if you need to finish it down the road? Thanks for the show." I don't know. Do you guys anyone want to jump in?
I'm more scared about games getting this.
Yeah, this is an easy one to answer for me, mainly because if it's in Game Pass, I'll probably start it. I don't really worry about when they're going to leave because we often Valak the games towards the end, right?
Yeah.
So we kind of race to get them finished before they leave. Or in terms of Final Fantasy, we ended up just buying it.
Yeah, because it was it's a 200-hour game. It's and you really enjoy it. And it's you play a bunch of it and you're like, actually, you know what? I want to hold on to this. So and that's what they're banking on, right? It's their business.
And there's some that are worth paying for, and it's rain on your parade left, but the DLC, you had to buy the DLC, so the DLC was purchased, which was fine, and it's a great game. Yeah.
If I was to start a new tag and all about probably only because it feels like there's a certain expectation of that goes into Game Pass games. Services are up, achievements, sustainable. That Game Pass does provide, whereas in any other game could bang shut down.
Yeah, it's quite different when they're not on Game Pass.
For the most part, obviously sometimes things come out and have discontinued unobtainables from the get-go and that sort of thing. Those usually get patched, but because that was I played the Nonary games, the 999 and VLR, the day they came out, because I was just I want to play these, and afterwards someone was there's a get all achievements achievement in there that could have easily just been unobtainable, and you didn't even check it. And I was I didn't even think about it, which is unusual for me. But it is always the risk, right? But yeah, you're right. Most of the stuff in Game Pass is relatively safe.
There's a few that I can think of from my head. Library of Runia has one obtainable, I believe.
So, yeah, I think it's a get all achievements of unobtainable.
Nuclear Throne, which I think got added to Game Pass early. There's some stuff that got added to Game Pass back when it was starting.
Neomaster.
Only the Xbox version, not the PC version,
of course.
And I think maybe Phoenix Point.
Phoenix Point,
yeah.
The XCOM style.
That might have got fixed though.
I think it might have.
I don't really worry about it. I think most of the games that I want to play from Game Pass are under 10 hours. So if they say this is leaving, okay, I'm done. The longer ones that I have yet to start, like Plague Tale, The Wild at Heart, and a couple of those type of games, if they were to announce that they were leaving, or they give you 2 weeks notice, I could probably still get those done playing, 2 hours a night or something, and maybe a bit extra on the weekend. I guess the other thing is, if they did leave and I didn't have enough time to get them done, I'm in a fortunate enough position that I could just buy them.
Yeah.
But also, I've got so many games to play. Game leaves Game Pass, I'll just play something else. We're really spoiled for choice at the moment, so I don't really worry about it.
I think that at least for me, I don't usually worry about it for that exact same reason, right? Most of the stuff I'm interested in, the reason I like Game Pass is because it gives me short, interesting experiences that I normally would, I normally wait for them to go on sale if I even knew they existed. Like Fogs was a fantastic example of like something Charlotte and I played together that like I probably never would have even played if it would just been a regular release. And that was like 8 hours. I'm happy to play like something that's, like maybe a 20-hour game. But I think the thing is that the way I play video games is like I don't usually start anything, whether it's a backlog, brand new game, Game Pass, anything, unless I plan on finishing it. So I go in with the mentality of wanting to finish the game that I start. So I'm usually not too worried about it. I'm usually more worried about them releasing extra content after it's left Game Pass, which is the big one, because that means I need to buy the content and the game itself to replay it, which is a huge fucking pain in the ass, but is what it is. But otherwise, I don't usually worry about it too much because I'm, completionist. So if I'm not finishing a game, I'm doing something wrong. And then
word challenge time.
Yes, I guess. What we have was this one. Cameron,
that's not really a question.
I was going to say.
I didn't put it in there.
And we need to keep going.
Okay, cool. All right, so we have the word challenge. So I have come up with a new game. And I come up with a new clue. Eagle-eyed viewers who are in the Discord will have already seen the clue because I released it a little bit early. But the clue is, it is a game that 2 out of the 3 hosts have played. I'm not going to say which 2, but 2 out of 3 of us have played it.
Next week's clue.
Don't tell us who the 2 are that have played it. Tell us the one that hasn't played it.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I could do that, but then I'd actually have to go and look and see if I can remember, because I actually went and checked it. I came with the clue and I was like, okay, now don't fuck this up. Don't fuck this up. Let me triple check the list to make sure.
Yeah. You know what he'll do? Next week he'll reveal one of the hosts that have played it.
Yeah, one host. There you go. Right? Yeah, exactly.
The other way around. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
it'll be Matt, because Matt's played everything.
Yeah, there you go. Right. Well, maybe I haven't played it actually. But
you probably have.
But yes, okay. So it's if you don't know what the word challenge is for some reason, basically I come up with a game. I give a clue each week, and there is a channel in our Discord where you can go and guess. And if you guess the game correctly, you win $20. There's basically put the title of the game. I would advise copying the game from like True Achievements or like Google or something to make sure it's the right spelling, because I fuck that up sometimes too. Because it's the bot is very, very particular. So, if you get close enough, I'll just give you the $20. It's not a big deal, but just so you get the nice gift to show up. Simple as that, really.
It's pretty easy.
Get in there. You can use the command !clues to see what the new clues are. So the first one's already in there, and you can guess once per hour.
Alternatively, you can ask us in chat to give you the clue, and then you still get to go do your guess. So then you're not losing your chance to put a guess in.
Also true. Or you could just scroll the fuck up and look at the damn.
You could, yeah. That is another thing.
Anyway,
cool.
So that's the word challenge. Patreon, Cameron.
We have Firehawk, Mad Lefty, G Spaceman, Admiral Awesome, Odrin, Keo, Cobra Todd, Google356, Comfy Skills, Hawkeye Barry, Hack and Bone, Cavalier 07, Obnate Clown, Mark B, and Nick Living Legend.
Cool.
Fantastic.
Nice and easy.
And like we said at the beginning of the show, we have just finished recording another episode of Lights, Camera, and Action, which will be out for our podcast, for our Patrons, hopefully this weekend, depending on how the edit goes. I'm hoping it's a nice, easy one. Have you got the contest as well, Cameron? Yep,
I got the contest. So Patreon draw for April. The votes at the games are Katie Meow Meow Land, Ikai, Curious Expedition 2, and A Musical Story. Ikai is leading with 3 votes, and everything else is out on 1. If you're not aware what the Patreon draw is, essentially is a community. Patrons pick the game that they want to be drawn for the month, and then it's randomized between the patrons and given out.
Yeah.
So you vote for what you want to win, and the community helps you with it.
Yeah.
And each tier gets more entries, so the higher tier you are, we'll give you a few extra entries into the contest. So to give you that reward, because we don't like getting content from people if we can avoid it. But obviously we want to give people something for all the support they give us, because we couldn't do the show without the Patreon. It helps pay for equipment, for things like Zoom, for hosting the podcast and all that kind of stuff. We really, really appreciate it. So thank you all very, very much.
Except for when it's
what?
When it's merch.
Well, yes, merch, obviously. Cameron, do you want to talk about merch?
No. What?
Here's one I prepared earlier.
All right, so I've got 3 of the 4 designs now. So your last design is the 1 million show, which I've shown up before.
Yeah.
Got our lovely TA score, achievements, gamer score. Perfect for the 1 million gamer score individual in your life. Matt, there's not enough 2 million. I'm not making one of them.
No, that's fair. That's
cool.
fair.
The final design of the Puppet Like a Hot one, which actually has the it's properly.
The apostrophe, yeah.
Cool. And then my favorites. Get over a chair. It's going over there. The achievement unlocked. I'm quite happy with. My favorite.
For our audio listeners, there'll be photos up on the Twitter page. So if you want to have a look, you can go over to our Twitter page.
Yep. That suit. I can't hang things. Anyway, cool. Yep. And I'm going to plan to start doing some hoodies. So give me some design ideas. Put them in the Discord. If you don't want to support the Patreon, but you do want to buy them, I reckon I will have them up on Redbubble. But honestly, you probably are better off doing it on Patreon.
Yeah,
shipping a Redbubble.
We better deal for the Patreon, so we'll just keep it easy. But as always, talk to Cameron about any of that stuff. He'll be happy to sort you out because obviously we want to give something back to our supporters. And I guess that's going to bring us to the end of episode 35 of the Hall of Gamers podcast. If you want to come and find us, we're on Discord. Discord.io/Hall of Gamers is the place to come hang out with us in our community. Do the word challenge, talk about the show, post some memes, that kind of stuff. We're also on Twitch, as we said. Hall of Gamers Pod is the address. Not Hall of Gamers. Hall of Gamers Pod.
No, that's the wrong one.
We also post all of the videos of this, all the archives to YouTube. So you can come check out our YouTube channel, Hall of Gamers Podcast. Basically, if you happen to miss it on Twitch, because Twitch only keeps it for a certain period of time, this is where I sort of stitch it together, put a nice, header on it and that kind of thing. Otherwise, obviously, it'll appear in all your audio podcast feeds wherever good and bad podcasts are found. If you want to get in contact with us in other ways, email hallofgamerspodcast@gmail.com. Twitter, we're @hallofgamerspod. And if you want to help us out, subscribe to us on your platform of choice. Word of mouth, of course, is always the biggest one for us. Retweet all of our shit. If you've gotten to the end of this podcast, you understand how podcasts work. We really appreciate the support. Alex, if people want to find you, if you want to be found, where are they looking?
You can find me on Twitter, on Xbox, and True Achievements, all at Professor Pluto.
Fantastic. Cameron?
If you want to find me, you can find me on Xbox, True Achievements, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all the socials, because I have to use every single one now. Just don't use this. Don't fucking message me on Discord asking if I want emotes there. I've left clear instructions on Twitter. What the fuck, people?
Yeah, this is definitely the best place to yell at them 2 hours into a show. I'm sure they're going to listen.
If they want my business.
They can't read a post on Twitter, but they're definitely going to listen to a 2-hour podcast. Absolutely.
Okay. Look, if I'll leave this, you can do really nice pixel art for me. Maybe I will. Hit me up then. Email me.
There you go.
Don't just
fax him.
And Charlotte?
Don't talk to me. No, nobody talk to me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like Linktree/AudreyChar. That's where you'll find me. That's it.
Easy. And if you want to find me, I'm a Neomaster on True Achievements, Xbox, and Discord. Discord is definitely the place to talk to me if for some reason you but that's it. We're done with episode 35 of the Hall of Gamers podcast. We will catch you guys next week. See you later.
Bye.